We're talking about your latest international headlines right now. President Donald Trump joining more than 20 world leaders in Egypt today, speaking about Gaza's future as we enter the first phase of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire agreement.
That's right. Joining us now to explain what this means for U.S. diplomacy moving forward, we have USC Assistant Professor of Political Science. We have Robert Kubinec. Robert, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So let's go ahead and talk about the significance of this ceasefire. What does this mean now moving forward?
Well, it is a big change in what's been happening in Gaza. I'm sure you've seen pictures of the devastation, the destruction. There's been ongoing war for the last 2 years as Israel occupied Gaza. Gaza City has been trying to de-arm, destroy Hamas. They have not succeeded. And so in some ways, this ceasefire is a setback for Israel because it's not their war aim. Their war aim was to completely obliterate Hamas, but Hamas, has survived. They have taken back territory that Israel has withdrawn from. But Hamas has also given back the remaining living hostages to Israel. 20 people returned to Israel today, which is good news for those hostages.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, President Trump earlier today, when we were listening to him speak, he said, quote, "This is a historic dawn of a new Middle East." I'm curious, how realistic is what the president said today?
It's good news for the families in Israel. It's good news for Palestinians who have been kept out of their homes for 2 years now, right? Is it going to fundamentally alter the balance of power or things moving forward? Not necessarily, because this is only a ceasefire. They have stopped fighting, and they have not given an end to that, which is good, right? That's what things were like before Hamas attacked Israel in October of 2023. So really, we're going back to the status quo. The big difference is that now Israel is inside Gaza. Previously, Hamas controlled all of Gaza. Israel has retained about half of Gaza as its territory. They're still occupying Gaza.
So for you, this really isn't considered a success. We're just going back to what we originally had, right?
No, I think it's a success for everyone who wants to see peace in the region because the fighting has stopped. There don't seem to be any plans to restart it in the near term. This is going to allow aid to move into Gaza. There are people who are living under famine conditions. It's going to allow for medical care. And it's wonderful for the families to receive back the people who've been held hostage for 2 years. So those are all good things. But is there an actual agreement emerging out of this that could end the war, that could lead to long-term peace and stability? No.
I'm so curious, is there a common misconception with the deal that you're hearing a lot of that you want to make sure you get the facts out there?
Absolutely. I mean, President Trump announced this as though it was a peace agreement. There's all these points that they announced. This was in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt earlier today, and those points have not been agreed to by Hamas or even necessarily Israel. Part of that agreement involves Hamas demilitarizing, completely giving up its weapons. Hamas has not agreed to do that. They remain in control of a good chunk of Gaza, and now more of it as Israel has withdrawn. And there's no indication that they're prepared to turn over their weapons.
With the United States also involvement with this, does this kind of tell us of any influence that the United States has on all of this?
I think so, yes. I think it shows the U.S.'s influence, President Trump's influence over Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister. I don't think that this necessarily would have happened without U.S. pressure. Now, we don't know all the backstory, but we know that Netanyahu has a very high regard for President Trump. And we know that President Trump has been wanting to see some wins in the Middle East, and so it seems like there was probably U.S. pressure that pushed Israel to withdraw from Gaza partially.
Did you watch today's speech with President Trump?
I didn't see the full thing. It was sort of unfolding as we were getting ready. I've seen a readout of it, of what was happening in Sharm el-Sheikh, and it's somewhat interesting. But the problem is that everything that was announced there was not agreed to by Hamas, and that's a crucial detail.
Absolutely. I'm also curious too, if I'm correct, Benjamin Netanyahu was not present during today's speech with President Trump.
President Trump was in Israel earlier, and then he flew to Egypt
Yes.
to Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes.
So no, I don't think Netanyahu was at Sharm el-Sheikh. It was apparently other Arab countries.
Okay. Is there any historical significance to him not being there?
Not necessarily. I mean, he can travel there because Egypt has a peace treaty with Israel. But the fact that he was not there does show that this is not something that's actually finalized yet.
Okay. There you go. Well, thank you so much for helping us kind of clarify all of this. We really do appreciate us giving that inside look on what was going on. So thank you so much for stopping by.
All right. And stay with us. We have much more to come right here during Friends at 5.